taken by the words that you say. The voice that carries them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Show you all the way. Let me show you all the ways. Oh, let me show you all the ways. Yeah, taken by the words that you say. The voice that carries them has kept me astray.
Hi, very welcome to tonight's show. With me today, as usual, Oscar.
Yeah.
Hi. And today's program is about social competence or social skillness. And our definition about this is your capability to communication with other people in a working group, in a classroom. So everybody knows what we're talking about.
Or in life, you know.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Your experience, Oscar?
Oh yeah, I had a really rough experience in a lot of ways in communicating with people in classrooms or workplaces or anywhere at all, especially in groups.
Especially in groups, okay.
Yeah.
Something you want to share with us today?
Yeah. Oh, I really don't know where to start in this. I was really quiet when I was younger. I have told a lot of people that may be watching this, and some of them actually know it.
Mm.
I was really much more quiet, more laid back, and like everything. Didn't say a word in class or anything.
So no interrogation at all?
No, barely not.
Barely not. Most of my participators has a lot of difficulties in this area. We have actually some sort of program for training them in this, and very often people think that this is about talking. More I talk, higher social skillness or competence I have. I would say it's rather opposite. It's your capability to function in a group, and that means that you don't are comfortable with taking all the space. You must be comfortable with listening and let other people talk.
You're supposed to know when to talk and when to be silent.
And a little tip for our viewers: don't be too personally too fast. Something I always tell my participators. Tell about yourself, yes, but do it in small steps. That's very important. People who are blowing everything out, that can be, what is this?
Yeah, overwhelming in a lot of ways.
Exactly, and frighten people off.
Everybody has baggage. Always remember that.
Of course. Yeah. That's true. That's true. But don't frighten people off with to be too personal, too fast.
Exactly. But it's hard to know when you're there that you can be personal like that, and when you're not. It's really hard.
That's the one.
Especially nowadays when everybody's communicating with text over the internet. You can't like read the other person in the same way.
No.
No, you don't see them, you don't hear them. It's just plain text. That's why we're having smileys, but people can interpret them in many different ways. Some people use one smiley for one thing, some use it for another one.
I can give you a smiley and still be quite angry.
Exactly, like, so, but you know what I mean. Like
smiling the internet doesn't save anything.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like you can't read the other person. You know?
No. And to read the other person is one of the most important things when you are actually educate people in this area. Body communications, and if you have new psychiatric disabilities, you have a different body language, less of it. So you actually have less to read.
And the same thing with if you have some mental problems or anything, you tend to read the other person in a bad way. Like you're reading the worst that it could be. Like you're overreading everything in a bad way.
Yes, it's quite common.
And that is a big problem because then you misunderstand things because why would they say something positive?
You already have a bad mood with you.
Exactly.
In the situation.
Yeah.
like we talked about the last time. So if you want to actually train people in these things, it's very, very important to do it live in a room with other people. It's very different for many, in many ways. You can do it in many different ways, but it's very difficult to have people to actually participate in even in a small group of 4 or 5 people. Could be too much. So very often we landed in that this is my participators who are actually doing everything, and that's get the result in a lower level. But as we say, it's better to start low than never start.
Exactly. And don't go into the deep end too fast.
No, of course not.
I'm doing crazy things like that, but yeah, that's just me.
Why, I'm not
No,
surprised.
like I tend to take things way too far sometimes.
I'm actually not surprised.
But they in some weird way, they still succeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it could be a thing to remember, that you actually can take things a little bit slower,
Yeah.
and still get the same result.
Exactly. Yeah. When I want to do something, like I said in another thing, I do it.
Yes.
Exactly.
But the way is not if you do it, how do you do it? Yeah. That's the main point here. And I think you can use role play that's a good start. But many people with just neuropsychiatric disabilities are very uncomfortable to play a role. And I can't play everyone, being a bit of a fake. So very often we ended up, we cannot use role play when we are just 2 people. So very often we ended up in just like this, a conversation when I try to figure out in which situation the participators think that they have a problem in some kind. Could be the bus, could be the classroom, could be in the working group, whatever. And try to make them talk about what has happened when you say this to that person. What was the reaction? And why do you think they will react like they did?
But one thing that helped me when it came to like talking in a classroom or anything was sitting down in a like on your seat talking, or in front of the others or something, not going through the front. Yeah, exactly. Like you're more comfortable, it's more relaxed, everything. It helped me a lot. Like even if it's just that speaking in front of people, like, but still, it builds social skills if you manage to do that.
That's the main point, the building process here. Don't think that we can fix the problem for just 1 or 2 meetings.
Yeah, it could take years, potentially.
Could take years. Unfortunately, we very often don't have years. We have a couple of months. But you can come quite far, even if you have just 2 or 3 months. Most of the participators I work with are in our unit for 6 months to a year, and then they move forward to other stations. So
what I really think today is like internet usage, and everybody, almost a lot of people sit alone all the time and only speaks with people over internet. That is going to hurt in the long run.
I think so too, because you are in your own comfort zone, and you never get out of this comfort zone.
Exactly. Like you're only writing to people, or maybe speaking to them with voice. Like, that's the only thing. You actually go home from your job or something to sit there instead of meeting the people. Even I can understand if they live in other countries or anything. Some like sit there all the time. But yeah, some people have different social needs.
Of course.
But of course, it's still important to meet people when you can, when you have the energy for it, or like when it's possible, if I'm going to say it like that.
Yes, I
Because
understand.
some people can handle it just sitting there. They can have social skills anyway. Some people can. But
It's possible.
yeah, it is cases where it hurts them a lot.
I think our group we usually talk about is one of the group who use this as a way to hide, a hiding thing, and we have the technology for having meetings without physical presence, but we never ever use them. And do you know why?
Oh, actually not.
Actually not. That
No.
the physical meeting is the first step to come out of your own bubble, your own comfort zone, your own sitting home. That you at least have to go to my unit and meet Andreas or one of my colleagues. That you actually have to do this is the first step to breaking the ice. So even if they have the technology, even if they have the possibility, we never ever gonna use them. Because we want to have this face-to-face meeting. That's a way of breaking the ice. That's a method in itself.
It's important, like, to meet people.
Very important. You can never work without contact with other people.
Because even those jobs have been classic, like being those things, you're sitting alone and like programming and something. It's not like that today. You have to integrate with people. You have to chat with them. Often you're in an office or something with people. You don't sit alone at home anymore.
No, I have an example of just that I would be a developer, an internet developer. So I don't have to doing things with other people. That was the participators' first thought about this work. And my colleagues was very into, all right, it's Mr. X, what we say, way to think. Let's change this because we know that this was not a reality. So we invited people who work with this type of things he wants to work with, and let them explain what is the working reality here. And after a while, he realized that I was not really thinking. I can't sitting home doing things with the computer, and that would be enough. There was a lot of customer meetings, planning meetings.
Yeah.
There was meetings for everything. They have more meetings than we have, and we have a lot of meetings. We actually basically living meetings, but they have 3 or 4 times more meetings than we have, and that I think was a bell for these participators. That I can't sit home. I can't do things from the computer anymore. I have to meet people. And that created interesting in development of social skills for these people, this person.
Yeah, I've studied seen a lot of people like having no social skills at all.
In what way?
That they can't talk with people in a good way. They behave. They can't like being serious or anything, or like knowing at all how to behave when you talk to people.
They're leaving out everything.
Yeah, like it's hard to describe really. Like they don't know when to not say something like that.
They're always telling their mind and their opinion in every aspect.
Yeah, in every aspect that could be kind of rough in a way, and they just like sitting in their own bubble, their reality. Like
and
have totally
out.
lost the have totally lost the connection with reality at all outside their desk.
Oops. That's not good, but I'm not surprised. I actually work with to crash this type of bubbles. Bing! Hopefully gone.
Yeah.
But I think it's very, very important to do this work. It's hard, and you get a lot of bad things back, because you are actually attacking these people's comfort zone. You are attacking their safety, and most of them defend it, not literally, but in a way that they try not to come to us. They try to make things hard for us in the work with this, because they actually defend their position, their situation, even if they knew that they will lose in the end to have it. They defend it anyway, because
they
it's
really
safety.
Yeah, exactly. It's safety.
Even if the bad safety, they still defend it. But I can say we usually win.
But yeah, social skills can also be in situations when you meet new people, when you go out like to a date, or when you go out to the pub to get a date, or anything at all. Really, like.
That's very, very important.
And here you have a field I'm crashing and burning in.
Yes, but it's very, very important to say that if you are going to attack this comfort zone, you must replace it with some plus value.
Yeah.
You cannot taking anything from them. You must put something other there instead. Here you have the benefit of learning these things together with
they have
me.
to know what they have to earn on it. Like it's like me in school. Even in school, I was with
they
that
get a
knowledge.
piece of the cookie.
I was that with that knowledge. I question.
If you want a grade,
exactly.
do it.
Exactly. That could have worked. They didn't even think of that.
No, I have been teacher myself, so I have the same type of students.
Yeah.
And I have given them just that answer.
Yeah.
If you want a grade,
exactly.
do it.
Yeah. But yeah, like if you meet people, a lot of people without these problems have problems with meeting people. But I have really big problems with it.
Yes.
It's almost funny.
I would say to the viewers that I have mostly work with students or youth who have this type of neuropsychiatric disabilities. So they don't take me literally when I say that.
Yeah, but also
actually,
with depression or anything. Like you're so worried that they will judge you. They will judge the living something out of you. That's what.
It's very important to say that I was joking with the students, and they know it.
Yeah, I was like, that's rough. Like thinking like that when you meet someone or anything.
Yes.
And you can't turn it off. I know a lot of people who has problems like that. None of them, what I know of, like me, but still.
Do you think this type of problem will increase in the future?
I think so, because we are moving on a more and more shallow like looks or everything by day, in my opinion. It gets worse.
Getting worse, huh? I could say I agree to a certain point.
But I know that it will turn around. This has happened in history before, and it will turn around. Like history is bound to repeat itself.
I really hope so, and I hope I can contribute to the turnarounds.
Yeah.
Because I think in this internet era, this internet time, we don't have to forget the personal meeting, because that was developed.
Yeah, on the internet, everything you see is a picture, almost, and maybe a little bit of text or anything. This could hurt people in a bad way in social skills, like that. It is like that. Everything is based on what you see. Not everything, not anything else on the internet. Everything is 100% what you see.
Or what you think you see.
Yeah, exactly. That is a huge problem when it comes to like social skills and everything. It can break people down.
Oh yes.
Like they have, like, they're getting stressed over.
I have to challenge this every day. You say that you are doing this, but in what way are you doing this? really challenge this. To the-
My challenge in this is actually one of the reasons why I have had the policy of not having a picture on social media before.
Mhm.
I want to break that. I want to break it down.
That's really good. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Like get rid of that. That it's all about that.
That's the first step to stand for that you are.
Yeah, it's a cheap way to stand for it.
Mhm.
Like,
But it is
I get a
standing.
lot of crap thrown at me for it.
Yes, but you're still doing it. and
Exactly. But
that's
still,
the
this
most
was a
important.
choice of me to start with this.
That's the most important. You're actually doing is
Yeah.
when we have this talk, these classes in social skillness, we usually take a work example, both real and fake. For instance, we can say that you are on an office, a colleague asks you for help, they need your attention, they want your attention immediately, and you're sitting with important things. How do you do to say to your colleague in a nice way, I don't have time just now? That's
Could
an example.
I will do something like could I come back to you when I'm done with this?
That's a good way.
Yeah, like or like in some way saying that I will, as soon as I'm done with this, I will come to you and like your problem is still important to me. Like show it in some way.
And
like
that's one of the key things to say to the other people that I'm listening to you, and I see that you have a problem. I will help you with the problem. I'm just doing these things first. That's a way to doing it. So it's very good to actually give the other person this kind of feedback.
I think that stress I was talking about nowadays with the picture and everything.
Mm.
That is one of the things who leads to people not having social skills, because they don't dare to talk to others if they're not like so-called perfect.
Mm.
Like
And they have created their own
I don't
picture of
want to
perfect.
bash on some people, but they might get offended. Those morning selfies some people take, like, oh, I woke up like this. No, it's 3
Morning
hours of
selfies.
photos.
Oh, I will never do that.
No, like, but you know what I mean. Like that's 3 hours of photography in most cases. If we're gonna be realistic here,
Woo.
like that is closer to the truth.
I probably look terrible.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yes.
oh yeah, I woke up like, yeah, right.
My cat is probably looking better. But that's
I'm
another
not gonna
story.
comment. I'm not going to comment on that.
You don't have.
No.
I forgive you.
That could be a factor that if you don't dare to, you're so afraid of making a fool of yourself, even in classrooms and everything, that you don't integrate with others, and
don't
then
dare to integrate
you
with
will
others.
get problems with social things because you never learn them.
I have an actual example from my work that's happened today, just a couple of hours ago. We have had a little computer problems because we have changed office, and the computer technician come and he wants to use one of the computers. Unfortunately, the computers we are using in the class, me and the participators. So he wants just that computer. He come in, looking, and going out. 5 minutes later, coming down, looking, and go away. Third time, I actually ask him if I can help him with something. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I want to borrow your computer. Just that computer. Can you have another one? Yes, we can take another one. That's okay.
I wouldn't dare to ask either. I'm such a chicken in those situations, but I'm the first to admit it. I'm really nervous and shy in those situations.
Oh, but he was seriously afraid.
I'm like running around in circles.
Yeah. He was very serious.
Yeah, it would look like a
in-
funny movie, like those silent movies when they run around really fast and stuff. If someone ever filmed me when I'm going to meet someone or I'm doing something like that, I'm actually running around like in those movies if they would speed up the pace.
He was going out and in and out and in.
Yeah.
And it was just me and the participants in the room. So there were not a lot of people. It was not a big meeting or something like that. It was a session like this. We are sitting with the computer. We use it in the class, and it taking 10 minutes to create the courage to ask us to change computer from one to another.
Well, I have a thing here. When you were a teacher, how did you get the students to talk in front of each other?
I mainly let them do it in small groups. And usually when you do that, we have one who is like me, talking every time, and a couple of people who are quite silent. So as a teacher, you have to jump in each group and start to asking questions to especially you or especially you. Then you can get the conversation, at least when you are there. Unfortunately, in big schools, especially in Sweden, we have many different rooms, and so you can have, if you do that, you can have your class in half of the school.
Yeah, exactly. And we have
so you can have you have to run around a lot.
In my knowledge, if you compare to other countries, we have big classes also.
We have very big classes.
And one teacher with a big class, how are you supposed to control that? Like, how are you supposed to get everyone involved in that way? Like, you will be running around forever.
Yes. I would say to the viewers that I work with students who have special needs, so I don't sit with 40 people. My classes was very small with Swedish standard, 10 or maybe 12.
Oh yeah, that would be great if we could have that in school, every class in those situations, because it's harder.
It's a wet dream as a teacher.
Exactly, but it's also a wet dream for a student, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because then if you need help, the teacher will probably have time to help you.
Yes, and you can interact as a teacher with your students, and you can have this little bit of social skillness training without that they know that you have this little training.
Exactly, like
train them back way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but the teachers in my old school, I talked about it before, they got me going with interesting subjects and debates and everything like that. I just couldn't shut up.
With the back thought of, aha.
Yeah, exactly. I'm suspecting it when you're saying it. Yeah, I have to ask.
You can actually do a lot of things.
They will get interrogated now.
Yes, you can do a lot of things. You very often when you are having this type of conversations or training in this type of skillness, you have one officially task, and then the 2 or 3 others who the participators of the student usually and hopefully not think about. Side effects, teaching under the table.
Exactly. I was thinking about those out situations I was talking about earlier also. One problem is there why people behave like creepy in a way in some situations like that. I think it's one of the things is because they think that's how you should behave in those situations. They have seen a stereotype of that. They think that is what's working. That is what you're supposed to do because they have seen it. They haven't learned something else. They think you should behave like that a lot of ways because I very much
get it
doubt,
from whom? Or?
Yeah, I'm very much doubt that they go out speaking with people with the intent to behave badly.
But I think that you are in your own comfort zone. The trigger to say anything and doing anything is much bigger. The level is lower because you don't see the other people. You don't see the immediate reaction of what you're saying or what you're writing. And that is a problem itself.
And I'm not going to mention the picture problem we have in society nowadays. I'm not even going to start it, but my comment is on it. They actually think that that's how you should behave.
Mm.
Yeah, and that is a problem. It's a deep society problem. It's the same thing with behaving badly when you're out, when you speak. They actually think that that's how you behave.
And I think it's if they read a lot of comments and see this on websites and forums, etc., they going along with it. They together sinking the level piece by piece.
Exactly.
And after a while, you don't have any level.
No, exactly. Like
level-less conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Like that needs to stop from everyone. I'm not jumping on someone, but that needs to stop. I read way too much of people behaving really, really strange. It's not only sending pictures; it's like writing to people in a really, really strange way. And I'm sometimes thinking, what made them do this? I'm thinking at that level. I'm not only condemning them. I'm doing that too, but I'm always thinking another level there. Why are they behaving like this? What made them make that choice?
That's an interesting question. I think it's because they are just alone when they're doing it. I don't have any people around me. I have no reason to not doing this just because I don't have any people around me physically.
If we're going to go around what it is they're sending, would they, if they talk to a new person out or in a group or in a restaurant, would they do the same thing? No,
probably not.
No, they wouldn't
probably
take
not.
that out and like swing it around.
No.
Never ever. What? Like, why do people think that they're anonymous on the internet?
But because they are alone in the room.
Exactly. Like it's a false security.
The main
false
difference.
Security.
Yes, it's false security.
But, like, that's a really strange thing. But it is social skills in a way, because they're behaving in a way they shouldn't. They don't have those social skills to not do it.
No. But they can have it in a situation that they they don't
if they would see the person in front of them, I think never ever. Okay, maybe some of them, but 99% no.
No. If they are sitting home and puking out and then they go to a meeting with a job center counselor.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that they don't puking out there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they don't show some things there. I'm almost sure of it. Some people might.
Oh,
it's always a person can always do anything, but still, that's a weird thing. Like,
but their level are higher when they don't is alone in the room. That I think is the key thing.
That's actually the thing I think is good that they show the trolls. Like they have problems with social skills. That's what they're doing. That they're actually showing them they're not anonymous.
But I also think that they have create themselves a little imagination of loneliness when they can actually say the things that they like to say but don't dare to say in other situations.
I've actually
I've
actually written to some of them in a really weird. I'm not going to mention anyone here. I promise not to do that in a way. But often it is loneliness, or like they have never been accepted. They don't have anyone to talk to. Like they have had problems
giving it back.
Exactly. Like it's those really sad things sometimes. Even if I'm not protecting them with that, like, but it's really like they could have any reason in that way. They like.
We always try.
It could be even a cry for help sometimes. Weird enough.
I understand. We always try to talk about this, not only the meeting in the job center or the working group, but also in social media. That you are not so alone, even if you think you are alone or you're physically alone. You are not especially anonymous or alone in reality. But especially people, I would say, with just these new psychiatric disabilities are very black and white here. They can feel alone when they don't see any other people. Even if they know that they interacted with other people on social media, they can still talk themselves into a situation that they are not here.
My rule on for example, Twitter: don't do anything there you wouldn't do in person.
It's very good indeed.
Yeah, but some people will still do weird things then. But still,
Of course.
But that's like a thing. Why, like, if you have that rule, you stop and think about what you're writing.
Mm-hmm. But that's very easy to
easy
write it off in.
And it's easy to say.
It's easy to say and easy to do, but it's also very easy to go too far.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, we heard about this every week. Politicians and other people has writing bad stuff on social media after a few drinks or so on. So.
Yeah.
So it's very easy.
Well, a lot of them would actually say that in real life then too.
They have to pay a high price for the mistakes.
Yeah, a really big high price. It's like the more like in public you are, the more costly it is to make one little mistake.
It could cost anyway, because my participators don't lose parliament places, but they lose the opportunity for a work.
Yeah.
And the way to another work could be a couple of years. Yeah. And that's a high cost too. So it's very important to keep this question alive if you want to help people with social skills.
If you feel like you need to train social skills, try to find someone close to you at least, or semi-close to you, to really talk to, in a way. Because even if you don't talk about like the stuff, like when I have problems meeting new people, it still helps me socially to talk to them. Yeah, even if it's about anything at all, it still helps.
We are back in our usual advice. Do it small steps and with people you're comfortable, but do it. Yeah. Do it. That's
don't overdo it.
Not overdo it, but dare to do it, because you can't develop social skillness by your own in front of a computer. That's a conclusion to say.
That's really hard. Maybe if you really it's really bad, like you don't go outside. Maybe you could a little bit like jumpstart it. If you like talking to new people over the internet or something, you can jumpstart it, but you can't go the whole way there.
No.
You can like start slowly and like develop it from there. It's a great start if someone doesn't speak to anyone, like outside their own home. It's a great starter, but you have to go outside of that comfort sooner or later.
It is like driving a car. You can start on the parking space, but if you really want to be a good driver, you have to challenge yourself on a real road. Yeah.
I still have, if we can compare that, I have a lot of development in social skills online. I still have the other thing to do. I know that for a fact.
No.
Like
but sitting here is developing.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's still developing. It's in development. You're never finished, by the way. Like,
of course not. You can never be too good in these things, and it's. I think it's very developing to sit here and talking with you about these things. Of course.
It took a lot of courage to like start with this, and a lot of people know that, it helped me a lot on the way. I think I calculated it was February. What was it? Almost.
I'm too old to remember.
1.5 years ago, I started with this YouTube thing. I think doing some A Way Out videos. The first thing I think it was on my channel, and it has developed from there. It has snowballed from there, really. In a
snowball effect.
Yeah, like some people will say against me on this one. I still have a lot of doing it in social ways, and I'm still clumsy in those ways. I get messages that I shouldn't say that about myself a lot, but I still do it.
I think it's a travel, as usual. Development are always a travel from A to B. And it's the traveler who makes the benefit of the travels, not the people who are standing beside and just looking.
Yeah, but if I like some some government thing or anything called me earlier, I wouldn't even answer that call. Or and then for a while I just
It's that
almost shut it
reason
up.
why he never answer when I'm calling.
No, and they were, and then I just like got them to do the conversation and just yes, like everything. But now I actually talk to them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but that is like a way in a social skill development, and
Oh.
it has gone in the right way. Same thing when I play games with people.
I
online.
see your tactic here. First you don't answer the
Yeah.
phone when I'm ringing,
Yeah.
and now I'm going in the
Yeah.
on with it and call you. Okay,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a development. Like a lot of people are especially afraid of new people, and in that way, like I mean, they don't want to embarrass themselves. But yeah, don't take yourself too seriously in that way.
No, of course not.
If you don't try, you will never succeed.
No,
That's like,
it's dare to try.
Yeah.
That's one of my
maybe they shouldn't do
most
maybe they shouldn't do it
outspoken words.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't go me extreme, but still try.
One of my most outspoken words, try. I will soon be Mr. Try.
Yeah, like if you like, they will go against you and say, if I don't try, I don't fail. But you can't win either. Is my answer.
Exactly.
That's
exactly what I say. You don't fail, but you don't win anything either.
No, and it rarely goes.
You're standing here.
It rarely goes as bad as you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm admitting it. I'm a pessimist in a lot of ways, but it rarely goes as bad as I think.
Oh.
So in a weird way,
every time it's going well, you get a receive of I'm wrong again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy to be wrong there. That's a weird thing. I'm happy to be wrong. When
I'm Mr. Try, and here we have Mr. Wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not wrong in that way. Like, but yeah, I like to be proven wrong in that manner.
Oh.
That's a really weird thing. I know that some people know me will say that. Wait a minute, you never admitted you're wrong.
Then you, if you like to have this situation, you like to have getting wrong. You should have my work.
Oh.
Because every time I'm right, we have a problem, and every time I is not having right, we have a success.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but like I don't feel the same way. I was like that earlier. I would never ever admit that I'm wrong. Ever. Even if I know that I'm wrong, I would never admit it a few years ago. Never.
But what are you afraid of?
Saying that I'm wrong, like being wrong, like admitting that I'm wrong.
Being wrong, being bad.
Like yeah, in a way. I have mentioned it before. In a test in school, I would never write an answer if I weren't 100% sure that I'm right. That's the way. Then I didn't try, in a way, earlier. I couldn't win then, but I didn't fail either. That was my whole thing.
That's your shield.
That was my old
shield.
Failed. That's what was my old shield. I've turned it around a lot. I still do fail, even if I'm really lucky in a lot of ways.
Yes.
I have a lot of success lately, but yeah, like I said last time, I'm very curious what happens when the failings start in a way. Sooner or later you will fail at something. Of
course, everybody doing that. The question is, how do you take it?
Yeah, and how do you get up again?
Yes. That's a challenge for everybody, and especially for people with this type of disabilities we are talking about
like,
here.
Or depression, or anything like that at all. Like, how do you take it when you fail? Like, especially if you have a lot of failures behind you. And you have started to turn it around, you will like, oh, the failure will start again. I remember how shitty that feels, and then you just go down. You will fail automatically then on things because you don't try, because you think it's not worth trying.
And be in a bad circle.
Yeah, it's not worth trying. Why would I like put in the hard work if I'm going to fail anyway? You get stuck in that. That's the bad circle. really.
Mm.
You don't even try. You do your best because why do that if you're only going to fail? I've gotten out of it. I still get into that circle sometimes, but not often.
No, because you have getting the very, very important receive that I can do things good. And that's exactly what we are trying to create when we are doing these skillness classes with our participators, that you have nothing to lose. If it goes wrong, it's okay. You can do another try. Yeah. It's very easy to say. It's very hard to do. But it's an ongoing process that you have to keep alive. And you have to keep it alive for a long time. But if you can keep this process alive for a long time, you can sooner or later create a result that these people dare to trying. And when they dare to trying, their success will come.
Most often,
and with little help sometimes.
Yeah, most often your social skills improve if you try. Most often. There is cases where it didn't work. It is a lot of cases, but most often, if you try, like you build it and you take it really slow and like, don't overdo it, you will build something, even if it's not always good. But still, you have to try like to build it.
But also, for our viewers to remember that the success is not 100% always, but 10% success is better than 0.
Yeah. And even if you take 3 steps forwards and 2 back, it's still 1 more up.
Yes, every step forward
and sometimes
is worth something.
Yeah, but sometimes you will take 1 step forward and 3 back for a minute. Sometimes that will happen. You will follow, but the important thing is to like get up from there.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's easier to get up if you know that everybody has this situation. Everybody has these needs. And if everybody has this need, my situation is not unique. My failure is not unique. My problem is not unique. I'm not alone with this challenge. Everybody in the human race has it.
Yeah.
And even my cat.
Yeah, you have hard time talking to the cat, I guess. You don't speak the same language.
No,
exactly.
Therefore it's a challenge.
Yeah.
To interact with your cat.
Exactly. Like
I'm struggling on.
Yeah, but new people, it's my biggest chance personally. I always struggle. People are all over there. It would be really funny to show sometimes. If you have met me for the first time, you know. I am.
Yes.
Like if you meet,
I have seen this travel.
Yeah, like it's like I think it's fun in a way. To like if I meet someone, and the funny thing is, the more I think the person is important to me, if I meet it, the worse it gets. You guys, people should see me if I meet someone, and I'm even remotely interested in the person in a way. Oh damn! Like that's just funny. I almost hide. Like it's really weird. I get so afraid of it. I can go there for days like that before I meet someone in another matter.
And you don't know how.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly.
Step,
like
exactly.
Like I'm over cautious when I do that. I'm like,
it's easier to be.
Yeah, like
I can.
At least I don't do anything wrong then.
No.
And at least.
But you don't win anything either.
Exactly, and at least I don't get reacted. That's a thing. I think when with shy people, when it comes to that, at least I didn't get reacted.
But what's the most important, that you don't be reacted, or?
I think like that will be. I am afraid of getting reacted in those situations. Really afraid of it in a way, because then that will crush me in a way when I dare to meet someone, especially in that situation.
I usually say to my participators, if you get a no for an answer, sometimes when you have with the publics to do. You get a no for an answer. You have applied for something and they actually say no. And to don't crash down for this. For people who are very sensitive for just getting no, they take their post they're getting home. They usually get a letter in a mailbox or in a ordinary letter. Take it to us, read it together, and then we can talk about, okay, you get the no here, but what can you get instead? So when we immediately can talk about other actions. Okay, the job center says no to this, apply. But have we something else we can put on the table? Something else to discuss with them? A new idea, a new suggestion. And then, even if we don't have this suggestion on the table now and then, they often have easier to accept that they're getting no, because the no was not the final no, it was a no feeling for the moment. And that's important.
I have to add that I have easier to accept that. They're not close to me, in a way.
Mm.
They don't, this will sound bad, they don't matter as much. If I get a no in a job or something, that's not as personal to me, in a way.
No.
I don't take it as personal.
And that's good, but
Yeah, like
many people do.
If you know what I mean, like the closer I want the person to be, the harsher it gets.
Of course.
Yeah, that's when it's funny also, when I'm getting so nervous. I laugh at it myself, like I said. I have no problems laughing at myself like that.
Mm. But here their challenge is that they're getting no so often.
Yeah.
And it's much in stake here. It could be apply for a thing, could be a small thing in one way, but travel has taken 6 months to come forward with this idea and get it reacted.
And finally dare to try to apply.
Yes, and they get reacted and have to begin again. Yeah. Could be another 6 months of hard thinking work to get a new idea on the table.
And it could be harder every time to get there.
Yes, of course.
Every no, it could be so much harder.
But the feeling that they are not alone with this often make the easier to take the no. They have somebody to share the no with. And that's helping a lot. Have you seen
and also
on
getting
the years?
On the interviews and everything. That's a lot of social skills. The work interviews.
Oh.
That's a nightmare for almost anyone. So don't feel alone if you're nervous there and you don't think you have the social skills for it. Almost no one is comfortable in that situation.
Of course not.
Probably not even the interviewer.
No.
Exactly. Like
it's a strange situation.
Yeah, nobody thinks it, but I'm really sure that the interviewer are also nervous in a lot of cases.
We actually use the job center staff in this work when we are acting job interviews, fake job interviews, just to get the participators used to the situation. We usually hijack one of the job center staff for it, because they are not familiar for the participators. They knowing us, so they are too comfortable to
exactly. You have
me
to,
or my colleagues.
I can't
like, play.
You can't have someone when you try to do that. You can't have someone you're too familiar with.
No, I can't play the bad guy here, if you say so.
Yeah.
So we use the job center staff.
I think one way that it could actually improve on the interview thing is reverse the roles.
Hmm?
That if you're doing training like that, reverse the roles, because then you see it from the other person's view also, and I think that's really important in a way. That's also what I think of when I try to interact with people, how to treat people in a way. Would I like someone to treat me like that?
That's a good idea, and we actually think about it, and sometimes we do it if they are comfortable to be the people who are asking the questions.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't know what to say, and that's make it tricky. But it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely, something to think about.
I think it's a really like interesting thing. I would like to try it that way. I would relax more in an interview if I did it, if I try that.
Mm.
In a way, like I want to be the other one. I do interviews, so maybe I have too easy to do that.
Could be a little cheaty for you.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be an interesting thing to like for people that don't think they have the social skills to pull off a job interview in a good way.
Mm. We can say to the viewers that actually train. If you have the opportunity to train, do it. It's worth every minute.
Yeah. Like yeah, really do it. And the school situations are rough for anyone. Like those old school, you have to talk in front of the class. You have to like that. My thing is actually to the teachers in this subject. Please put them in small groups instead, if they really need to. Don't like force them in front of everyone. That could harm more than it helps.
Of course, I don't think, and I hope it's not the usual stuff. Unfortunately, it was actually a method 50, 60 years ago. But today, I'm pretty sure that they don't do it just because you don't get anything back as a teacher either.
No, like you get a person there that could break down potentially. Like
they just get problems for it.
Yeah, like they could break down really rough. Even you all don't always know if they have social problems, not even as a teacher, because of the big classes. Like that, if they have some depression, some people are really good at hiding it.
Yes, of course, and I would say if you're doing that method as a teacher, you have prove yourself wrong in many aspects.
But also try luring them out in the small groups with questions, like you said, like questions, like talk to them instead, like help them in that matter. Don't like over force them to do a monologue.
No, of course,
because that's
going in, ask questions, start a conversation, and be sure that everybody has to say something.
Yeah, exactly. Like accept that fact, like that they could still do a presentation in that way. Accept that fact that could actually be a presentation in a way, like having a.
I have it as a method when I was a teacher. Sometimes they have to doing this type of presentation when they have written subjects, and this small group presentation was a quite good idea. So it was a good method, and everybody has to say something. It doesn't have being much, but everybody has to say something. And the most thing they were comfortable to talk about was their own part of the work. We develop, if you have a whole work of a whole subject, this is your work, this is student A, student B, student C. Everybody do their part of the work, and they're being a little bit of interviewed about their part. And everybody has to say something and have some idea about this. But very often they were quite comfortable to talk about their part of the work.
Yeah, and it's like if we lower the class, we maybe could pick them up earlier, even if a lot of cases couldn't. We helped with the so-called normal methods. I think we should adapt the school more to neuropsychology aspect of the whole thing. Everybody would benefit. I support that idea. Like that would help everyone. Like
the question is of as usual if the teacher dares.
Exactly, but we have also large classes. Could they even pull it off? Like,
of course,
can they help everyone? Can they make everybody part of the group? Can they like? What's still?
We have a tradition in Sweden to reform schools. So we have 10 big reforms in 10 years. So one more or less make a difference.
we have a thing changing the grade system. That's a thing here.
I think it had changed 4 times since I was born, and that's a lot.
Yeah, but I'm confused. I'm really confused.
Yes.
But
That's
still,
about
like
that's
social
about the
skills is in
skill-
every
social
part,
skills
part of
aspect.
life. Like even sitting home with your family,
Mm,
anything.
yes.
It is really like that. Still, yeah,
It's
we're
very interesting subject.
Yeah.
We can talk a lot about this.
yeah, we can sit here forever. Even if we panned off into self-confidence here and like self-love and everything, we tend to do that.
Of course.
These subjects goes into each other in a lot of ways,
Of course.
because you can never stick on just one subject like that.
Mm. That's true. Very well. Thank you for watching us. See you in 2 weeks and have a nice time. Goodbye.